and gentlemen, welcome to Extraordinary Technology 2017's Saturday Vendor Showcase Session. This is an opportunity where we have some of our vendors that have interesting technologies or services that this gives them a chance to show you what they have, and some of them will be sharing some prices about their wares, and where to get them, and we're hoping that everyone will. But the first one is Mike Petrovich with Healing Waves. His primary product is Biomat, although Mike has a whole bunch of products. Come on up, Mike. And including he has some very, very cool little, they look like Segways, but here to tell you about his products and what he has to offer is Mike Petrovich. Is
that vertical? Great. How does that sound? Well, my name is Michael Petrovich, and about 10 years ago now, I came across the Biomat, and it looks like this. So for the last 10 years, I've been sleeping on this mat, which is quite interesting. It's a mat that's basically infrared, negative ions, coming through amethyst crystal. The crystals modulate this tuned frequency of infrared, and it has some very interesting effects. But I'm now kind of restricted by the FDA in terms of what I can say. It's an FDA Class 2 medical device. So I'm going to read it. The Biomat is a Class 2 FDA registered medical device. The FDA documents give the following indications for use. The Biomat is indicated for temporary relief of minor muscle and joint pain and stiffness, the temporary relief of joint pain associated with arthritis, the temporary relief of muscle spasms, minor sprains and strains, and minor muscular back pain and relaxation of muscles, and the temporary increase of local circulation. At least that's what the FDA allows me to say, and maybe off the record I can tell you a few other things. So this is a technology that, as I said, I've been sleeping on this for 10 years, and I can tell you after 10 years I still look forward to going to sleep on it because it's very relaxing. It relieves pain. We find that even in 15-minute sessions like we're doing out here in the showcase area, we'll see pain reductions, back pain, that type of thing, headaches, et cetera, et cetera. It boosts circulation, opens up the arteries, so we see increase in circular flow. Sometimes we'll get tingling if the capillaries start opening up. It tends to relax the body, so it tends to help with sleep. It elevates the mood, boosts serotonin levels, so it's very relaxing. So I'll just give you one example over many years that I've been involved with this. I was at a fair up in British Columbia. I had a woman come up to me about 8 years ago, and I was had a booth set up, and she sits on this mini mat, which is this product I brought right here. And she came in with a walker, and her sister laid on the larger mats that we have, and she was sitting there probably 45 minutes maybe, as her sister was on the mat, and they were talking afterwards. So she gets up and walks down the hall, or down this pathway, hallway, and got about 25 feet and realized she wasn't in pain anymore. And she'd been in pain since a child. So I saw her last summer, which is really interesting. She said that was the last time she ever used her walker. So then she goes home, and she has a friend of hers who has non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, goes through all the chemotherapy. So she says, here, take my mat. I want you to be comfortable, in your last days. Next thing you know, a month later, her friend's around going out visiting friends, and turned out went into complete remission. She did some other things, but that's the same technology. And then as I talked to her last summer, she said she had another friend, she did the exact same thing. So it's quite interesting what this technology can do. But basically what you're looking at is a tuned frequency of infrared that kind of works really well with the body. On this slide, you'll see that I put my website, www.bio-mats.com, and you see a / TT 2016. I put that up because that was last year when I gave a presentation at the conference. That was my presentation slides. So you can, everything you want to know about infrared is in that presentation, so you can use that as a link. And then finally, this year we've also introduced the Oregon Biomat. Oh, good. So it's a biomat technology where instead of using amethyst crystals, they're actually using an impregnated fabric with amethyst. And then they've also added an Oregon layer, so it's quite an interesting technology. It's a technology that I found quite amazing. It's one of those that changed my life, and I love it. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for attending TeslaTech 2017.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Monty Cunningham with Stressaway.com. He works with everything to relieve your stress, including he's got acupressure and physical and mechanical stress relieving devices for you. Here's Monty. Wait a minute, I heard that somewhere else before one time. Okay.
This one here. All right. When I was a little bit younger, I played football. One of the things about football, you can get hurt real easy. Hurt my back. It ended up taking me 20 years to figure out how to fix myself. I ended up designing a little tool like this that I placed between me and a wall, lean up against the wall, bend my knees, and when I started, it got rid of the pain. When I started rubbing other people on their heads and shoulders, all over the body, I was originally going to make hair grow. I had a big cellar there, but I ended up, it got rid of pain just by rolling in the head. And I ended up designing other acupressure tools, and instead of just using acupressure in the roller, I started working with reflexology points on the hands, on the feet, and on the ears, plus the acupressure points. And when I measured how well it works, you see this kind of results here. This is for 1,148 people. Now, most of the people that I worked with have been in flea markets, fairs, shows like this. People come up, and I ask to see what their problem is, and then I show them the reflex points to relate to their problem. We put pressure on those points, plus pressure on the acupressure points, and that's what gives me an average of 78% reduction in pain within usually 5 to 10 minutes. And I have hundreds of testimonials, and it's something that I've done for like 40 years. I've done it enough for me to recognize that this is a very powerful tool for reducing our medical costs and giving people who can't afford treatment something that they can do themselves. We have like 23 million people that we're looking at cutting off of insurance. This is a low-cost program that I have for $9.95. They can get training on it. They can learn where the points are. I give them low-cost tools that they can work with. Now, pardon me? Yes, with the $9.95 package, I have 18 webinars up on the internet that they can go and learn about acupressure. They can learn about the specific points for neck pain. I give them the ear points, the hand points, the feet points, and the regular acupressure points, and some motivation about them taking responsibility for their health and participating in the process instead of looking for somebody else to heal them. And the reason I have the tools is that it makes it easy to stimulate the points. So like if a person has a back problem, they're trying to get into a spot here, they can just do this, which they normally can't get into that spot. And so I have training on the internet, videos on how to use all the tools and stuff like that. Now, the research that I've done earlier kind of led me to this spot here, which is, oops, I guess you want to see the front of that, don't you? Okay. There are points on the feet and the hands and the ear that correspond to all parts of the body. When I was showing people how that related, I showed the breast was on the top of the foot. And I had many women that would come by and say, gee, I have breast cancer. Show me. So if a woman had breast cancer in this part of the breast, up in the lymph nodes, the foot would be sore right in here. If the lump was down in here, we would find soreness here on the foot. Now, in my book, I initially proposed, why can't we use this as a way of screening for cancer? A friend of mine said right away, be real careful. The mammogram industry is very highly competitive and they have a lot of money. I tried to get funding at one time in a university with a student that was very interested. She says, oh, this is great, we got to do something. She went to her advisor. He said, oh, we can't touch that, we would lose our funding for our other programs. Right now, though, we have text phones, which are new. Okay, we have email, which is new. So I'm proposing that we do studies and gather a large database verifying that if there's no soreness, or a scale of 1 to 5, of soreness on these points, it will mean that we don't have cancer. If the points become sore, it would mean that you would want to increase your efforts to try to deal with diagnosing what's wrong. So this may be a way of screening for cancer at a very low cost, and it's something I'm trying to gather the data on. If you come to stress-away.com, you can learn more about this. And this is something that will be done almost for no cost at all. So I'm done with this, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you.
You know, how we look at our body and how we look at life, it's all interactive. You know, what he was saying about your feet, there's people who suffer from sugar diabetes, that the circulation in their feet begins to depreciate. But what happens is that the rest of the body begins to suffer right along with that. And that's why, you know, if you know somebody like that's suffering diabetic challenges with circulation at their extremities, at the very, very least, you know, getting like aloe vera oil and vitamin E and massaging their feet and their legs with that at least 3 times a week for half an hour each foot keeps that from becoming gangrenous and keeps them from losing it. But what happens is there's some collateral blessings and benefits that happen from that. The rest of the body, just what Monty was talking about, because all these stress points that relate to the feet relate to all the rest of the body, and all of a sudden their health begins to shoot up immensely. Now, amidst all of that, everything in your body, all your cells and all your molecules in the water are all polar. Everything is affected by electric current. There are little nano and pico currents that everything that your neuron synapse that start up here in the brain, they go all the way down to, some people say the brainstem ends at your toes there because that's where the nerve endings go. But those are electrochemical impulses. And what happens is that the electrochemistry that controls that can be affected in different ways. And you can use superimposed electromagnetic fields to help that and increase the circulation. Now, the next gentleman, Buyington Sims, has done some amazing things. And over 10 years ago, I sat in a pool with him with one of his experimental devices. And he put this in the pool, in the water. And oh, you feel the tinglies running through. Most people, when they feel a little tingly, they feel, oh, electric current, shock, electrocution. Well, not hardly, not even close. And what happens is that Buyington has a technology and aquatronics here, and Buyington's going to tell you a little bit about another way and show you a little bit, that you can enhance your health situation, reduce your maladies, and wait a minute, I think he's working on a little conspiracy to do a free taste test this evening in the pool. You know, I could be wrong, but here's Buyington.
Hello, everybody. I'm proud to present the Galvanic Bath. This is the anode. It has a 999 pure silver, troy ounce coin in it for investment purposes, obviously. Anyway, that makes silver, puts colloidal silver into the water and into the area you're treating. And let's say you've got an achy hip. So you'll be in the water, and you bring this up to you. Maybe here it starts pulling. So when it's pulling real hard, you'll get an achy sensation. So you just wait. Back off a little, wait for a while, and it'll pull some, and then it'll desensitize, and you can bring it in a little closer and wait there. And after the first session with this, the pain will be gone, but you may want to continue treating until you get all the pull. It quits pulling anything. If you go to some area, like middle of your arm somewhere, you won't feel anything because there's nothing there to pull. It's not a problem. And you'll locate things that are pulling and that don't have any symptoms yet. But if a few years down the road, then they'll start aching. Now, so the anode pulls out the acidic toxins and the pathogens. The pathogens are so small, they literally get electrocuted with the current. You're only drawing 30 milliamps, and to you just feel a tingle, but it's deadly to the bacteria. And then this is the cathode, which I designed it this way because two people can treat. One can hold the cathode and one can hold the anode. And this pulls out the alkaline toxins and the heavy metals. And this is the battery charger. There's a two-stage charger, so after you use it, you charge it up, bring the battery, top it off. There'll be a red light while it's charging, and when it's done, it'll turn green. Then you know the battery's charged. So I got two different models. This is the deluxe model, which has an adjustable control that you may need to use in a salted pool. And then you've got a 30-volt output and a 12-volt. On the salted pool, you have to use either the 12-volt or the adjustable. You want to hold this right down on the body and adjust the current to where you're comfortable with it. Otherwise, the salt water is more conductive, it'll drain the battery. You don't want to do that. So it has a pulse circuit in it, which creates a kind of a jackhammer effect that breaks the free radical bonds faster than just a straight DC. I started out with just a DC, but the pulsing works faster. And then, when you use the silver, now this cone is so you can treat a wider area. Otherwise, it might be too intense to start with. And then once you pull enough stuff out, you can take the cone off and just use this. And like if you have a abscessed tooth or something, you would just put this on and put your face in the water like this and get rid of the pain instantly. Now this device doesn't heal anything, it just pulls the stuff out of the way of your body so that it can heal itself. And the toxins it pulls out goes directly into the water and doesn't go through your liver and kidneys. So you can detox at a much faster rate. Plus, if you use this in conjunction with the microcurrent devices, the microcurrent devices are for healing and regeneration. And of course, if you use them alone, they also stimulate a detox, but it goes through your liver and kidneys. If you use this, then the microcurrent device will work a lot better. And also, if you're taking supplements and you take them just before you use this, then there's an effect called electroporation that increases the absorption of whatever you take. But beware, don't use pharmaceutical drugs just before. You might OD on a normal dose. Wait a couple hours after you've taken those to use it. You start using this, you probably won't need those anymore after a while. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and hand it over to the next person.
Okay, we can do some amazing things with water and do some amazing things through the water. And our body is composed of right around 90% water. Now, if we take that water and we change the charge of it, we sometimes increase it. There's certain things and maladies that can't survive in certain environments. And there are many people, doctors and physicists alike, that not only would suggest that they believe that but they believe that cancer cannot survive in certain types of alkaline blood and certain environments where the pH of your blood just doesn't allow the two. There's some amazing health benefits. I wish I could say were perfectly scientifically quantified and defined, but this is the place where we learn and we're scratching the surface of those new technologies. And with that, I'll give you Andrew Batty and Hydrogen Garage. And Andrew, he not only tinkers with this machine right here, this electrochemical physical machine that we're driving moment by moment, but he also deals with the four-wheel ones. Andrew Batty.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm Andrew from Hydrogen Garage, and usually making water fuel cells to save on gas, and we run engines, small engines on water. We have a new product we came up with. We introduced it last year, the water smacker, and Bob Boyce is a Department of Defense retired scientist, and he invented it 30 years ago, and he started using it because his body was had cancer, colon cancer, and so he developed the water smacker. So last year at TeslaTech, we introduced the first standard model it's UL approved, and what it is, you put your water in here, it microclusters and ionizes the water. It is taking 1 watt of wall wart energy, so you just got a 12 volt, it has to have the ground on it, it deals with the ground. It only uses 1 watt of energy, so you could have 60 of these hooked up and it'd equal to 1 60 watt light bulb. So you can leave it on all the time. You fill your bottle with water, comes with this bottle here, and what it has is, you can see in there, it's a cathode antenna, really. We're not running a current through the water, we're running it's this radio frequency of human frequency of the earth, so that our bodies and plants and everything's used to. And we're so bombarded by the high frequency, cell phones and everything. This helps get your body back to normal. And so see, this one's model is the one we're selling. They're selling online for $350. At the show we're having for $50 off $300. And anybody can come and dealer with this. If you want to put on your health page, and just put a page and we'll put your name on there, and you make $50 a sale. So it's helped promote Bob's technology. I'm just a guy I met Bob, and he's an amazing man, and so I just trying to promote his technology, and he allowed me to do this. And so he came up with this year. He came up with the 5 watt model. This is the super water smacker. Now this one plugs in with 110 volts comes in there. This one takes like 24 hours to charge the water. This one does it in 8 hours. Boy, did you get a shock out of this one. And this is only water, there's water machines out there, alkaline water machines running a current through the water, and we're the only ones taking the energy straight from longitudinal energy, which is all negative from the ether, which, the dark, deep space, they call it dark energy because it's dark space, but and so that's the energy we're using to make negatively charged water for today, because you bring in the negative for positive health and you eliminate the positive with the acidic side, and it helps with any healing crisis or losing weight, and ditch drinking soda. And okay, and then so this one's it's $1,000 experimental model, so it's not for really consumption. It's for a doctor. We like medical people to buy this one to try it out, or a big family. Or this one's a little more heavy duty. This one really gets going, but so, and Bob's going to be shipping them out from his place. This one here, it's at watersmacker.com, and thank you. Yeah, it's all negative charge water. It's all 100% negative. So that's the hydrogen side.
Okay. Through the days and years that we spend, like Albert Einstein, as this short walk that we make through this life, sometimes you'll look and you'll see something that, there's something there. You may not be able to explain it, but it's there and it's real. And you may not be able to quantify and define it. And but at the same time, you may be able to capture a little bit of it. The next gentleman that's coming up is Keith Perry. He's come up with a couple of very interesting discoveries. One of them, he calls it Power Go or Green Go, that you put in the gas tank, and it improves the performance that way. And there's one that you put in this gas tank, not the car, not the four-wheeled, the two-leg gas tank, and helps improve its performance, but it's the cognitive performance. And sometimes, when we can put something in close proximity to this electrochemical computer here, we can affect the way the molecular structures act and cause a difference there. And he's even got a crystal that begins to interact with us with this great hydromechanical, biological mechanical structure. And the vendor after him also has some interesting crystal research. Here's Keith.
Thank you. About 12 years ago, after messing around with a lot of weird Tesla stuff and alternative medicine stuff, I came up with a method of charging water in such a manner that it actually affects consciousness with a very small amount of it. The water that I have here I call awareness drops for good reason. And it is, some people will say it's Ormus or S-Ormes, because it's very powerful and has a lot of the same kind of effects that Ormus has. But essentially, it is something that actually affects consciousness. It will change you from a beta state into an alpha state typically, and even down into meditative states with your eyes wide open. But when I use it, it makes the colors seem brighter, wood grains richer, and various perceptual kind of things that happen with it that kind of is almost like a mild hallucinogen. But it's not. It is not that. It is water with what I consider to be 0 point or tachyon or some sort of energy like that in it. It is not charged electrically, but it has an electric charge. And one guy I've been working with for about a year says that it's H3O2, but that's the stuff that Pollock has been working with for several years. But my understanding is that the stuff that he creates only lasts a few days. This lasts for years, 10 years even. So it must not be exactly the same thing that he's working with. And applying these same principles, I put this energy into what is basically fuel-grade ethanol. It's 98% ethanol and 2% gasoline. And by putting this energy in there at that kind of level, I can make, well, for instance, I have a 96 or 98, 99 Ford Ranger truck that got 16 miles per gallon when I got it. And it had been pretty consistent. That's the highway mileage on it. And 16 miles per gallon out of a little four-cylinder. And using this, I can get 50% increase by using 2 drops per gallon. And I have it marked for half a drop per gallon essentially, because that will give you about 15% boost in horsepower, which if you're not driving it for horsepower, if you're driving like a grandpa like me, then it turns into mileage. But it's still there to be on tap. It is the strongest additive the EPA has ever registered. It is in their aftermarket category. It is 0.0017% of an ounce per gallon. So we had to stand on our heads to get that into their computer because it's set up for ounces per gallon. It's 0.0017% of an ounce per gallon, which is mind-blowing. It was to them and still is to me. And racers especially cannot believe. They say, what is that? Liquid dynamite? That's what the dyno operator said. Did you put liquid dynamite in there? And I calculated it out. This is actually stronger, not explosive like nitroglycerin, but it's stronger in energy content than nitroglycerin. So anyway, pretty bizarre thing. Strongest additive the U.S. has ever registered. And then I put this same energy into crystals, pendants, in particular torus shape is my favorite. But like the crystal I'm wearing here is a quartz crystal that is imbued with this same energy at the same kind of levels that my other things are. And that energy transfers into your body. You can feel it just holding it. Most people can. And it feels like vibration, like you're holding a drill or something that's a constant vibration. But it kills pain throughout your body and kind of energizes your body. And been doing those for a while. And a couple of years ago, I started doing carrier oils for massage oils, like avocado oil, apricot kernel oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil, and there's one more that doesn't come to mind right off the bat, almond oil. Anyway, all these oils are typically used for massage, and you can mix my energy oil in there with a half a gallon of these carrier oils and have an amazing massage with just maybe a couple of milliliters of that half gallon. Will light up your whole body when you get a massage with it. So that's essentially what I have. I've just been experimenting and putting this energy into various different things. And they all seem to be good, and the outcome is always good. So I call it divine energy because we can't really kind of say specifically what it is because it doesn't fit any categories. But it comes from the 0 point, which comes from the mind of God, as far as I'm concerned. So it's divine energy, and it does divine things. And that's what I got here. And I'm at a table out front. So look me up.
By the way, Keith is going to be out in the, wait a minute. You're going to be outside with your wares, but how do we get a hold of you? What's your phone number or your email?
It's Keith Perry ATX, like Austin, Texas, which is where I'm from. Keith Perry ATX at gmail.com.
Keith Perry ATX, all one word, at gmail.com? Or is there a phone number you can call?
Locally, it's 505-859-3369, or my Texas number is 512-777-1143. I have cards on the table.
Keith Perry, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Keith had a little crystalline round thing there, and there have been alchemists and chemists and scientists, and science has taken on some different titles and names over the years. And before the time of Christ, they used to call them astronomers, astrologers, and they used to call scientists magicians. If you go read historical writings that they have, like in the Bible or something, it talks about this guy named Daniel. He was the chief of the astrologers and magicians. Well, that was the astronomers and scientists the other day. And this guy Merlin for King Arthur, he was a magician, and an alchemist, but every one of them through the years has seen something and discerned something that crystals do something and have a way of interacting with energy and your life. And Tammy Lynn Cauldron, like many others that have come before with quantum balanced crystals, she has spent much of her time pursuing that same research that science, alchemists, and magicians have pursued, not just for tens or hundreds of years, but thousands of years. Here's Tammy Lynn Cauldron.
Thank you. All right. Hello, they call me TLC. That's my initials, and that's like the love frequency. So I do use 528 hertz frequency to program into my crystals. And about 1999, I was, I've had scoliosis all my life since I was a little girl. 1999, I had my last neck surgery. And I was at the doctor's and I was given prescription pills, but I became toxic immediately, and I quit cold turkey, and I was looking for another solution. So that's the background of how this all started for me. And so as I was looking for a solution, I learned about energy, and I learned I was all energy. But then I needed to get to know my energy centers of my body. So the more I tuned into my energy centers, which they do call chakra centers, magical things started happening. And I started resonating with quartz crystals. So I use quartz crystals from Arkansas. It's a clear ice crystal. I have a couple here for examples. And I crush them up in a nano size, and I put them inside of a plant-based resin. The resin captures those frequencies. I also program the crystals with 200 frequencies. And with the resin capturing the frequencies, it stayed very high vibrational. So every time I wore the crystal, my aura, my energy would just amplify, because that's one of the qualities of the quartz. It amplifies your energy. But the more I started working with my energy, I realized color had a purpose. So then I knew my pendants had to be created in colors. And I was shown and guided to 12 different colors. And so I'm going to go over my colors really quick, a few examples. So, like the red one is for prosperity. It's our root chakra. When you wear the red one, you get very grounded. And orange is for relationships, so for healthy relationships, joy and creativity. And then yellow is personal power. And my 3 heart chakras, the aqua is higher heart, the pink is for receiving heart energy, the female heart energy, and green is a heart energy, which is a male forgiveness, abundance energy. And those are the chakras in our body. And the more I kept getting into my body and working with these centers, the more the pain left my body. And I realized that, energy was a way I could heal myself. And I totally went back into balance. I got more aligned and more structured. And I started creating these. People would start sharing them with the world. And my kids started transforming. It was amazing. And so then I started seeing how the copper coil was really important for the energy too. So I made these cones. Let me put it here for you, see. And the cones has a copper coil that shifts the energy out of the tip. And I handpicked the quartz crystal. I get them from Arkansas. And the energy goes around like a vortex, which is the same rotation as our chakra centers, which our chakras are just generators moving our energy. And it's really important to keep our energy moving forward. And so that's what the cone is representing too. And you can put the cones on your body, in your room, and it's going to put that frequency into your room and create a coherent field to harmonize all that energy and keep the energy moving forward. So I also have the cones in 12 colors. And I created this rainbow booth, so when I'm an exhibitor at conferences, it's a 12-color rainbow booth with a roof of all the 12 colors. So everybody that goes into my booth, they can feel the frequency of the color in the quartz crystals. And the other thing we do, I also can feel people's energy when I tune into their energy. And we create the Trinity Necklace, where I can put the 3 colors together, whatever I feel would optimize their energy the most. And we do that at the booth too. And, I'm sorry, I'm not watching the monitor. And so like this one will give you the heart energy frequency, the blue is a throat frequency, and the purple is a spiritual awareness frequency. And that's gonna resonate with your energy, so it's gonna create this higher vibration. And to move pain out of your body is really important. We work with our energy and we create a higher vibration. And I also started at the beginning I was really EMF sensitive to all the electronics and the computers and cell phone technology. So one of the first things I created was a house balancer, where I use a copper coil on that, and that goes on your fuse box to harmonize all the energy in your home from any of the EMF pollution. And I don't put the copper in the pendants because it's too strong to wear copper on your body all the time. So we just keep that in more of our specific EMF energy pendants. House balancer in the cones. And I have a few more minutes. I'll tell you the rest of the frequencies. This one is the throat chakra. This is a blue one. It affects the energy right in the throat. And then one that a lot of people might not have heard of is the black mouth chakra. It's the I know. And the intentions are inspired speaking and conscious eating. And it also helps you when you wear this. It keeps you in your boundary and other people in their boundary, so you don't have an invisible energy exchange. and that's for giving you a healthier boundary. And the purple one is crown chakra. It's for the spiritual awareness. It's really important when we're working with our energy that we keep this energy center up here open so all the energy can be released, so we're not suppressing it in our body, because all pain is blocked energy. So the more we work with the energy, the more it starts shifting out of our body. And the magenta is our soul star, which floats right above the crown chakra, connects you to the universe. And the clear one is for clairvoyancy and clarity. So what I discovered when I worked with my energy centers, I became like an antenna, completely connected to the universal source field around me, and stayed very grounded, but also in my body where I can manifest whatever I can visualize. Our vision is what it limits us, so we have to see unlimited possibilities. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next, the next gentleman, he kind of sews together quite a bit of a little bit of those that have come before him. Philip, he's Relaxed Saunas of Momentum. Come on up, Phil. He's got a wide variety of technologies that they work to help do stress relief and everything. It's on the little card that you see in front of you. There's everything from infrared lamps to oxy supplements, and he's got this very, very cool portable sauna that uses an amazingly small amount of energy to help do the sauna therapy that sometimes is what's necessary to help get the pores to open and close and begin to cycle, so that the circulation and the vascular constrictions that have occurred that are reducing your body's ability to heal itself, that it now takes out that blockage and helps begin your body to breathe. The reason why you take sauna treatments or jacuzzi treatments. So here to tell you more about it is Philip Wilson.
Hi, thank you. As the young man said, my name is Philip Wilson. The company is Relaxed Saunas of Momentum, and the website is www.relaxedsaunas.com. It's on there. Great. And you've got the phone number, 626-200-8454. The background of the company is that a Japanese company asked this electric company in Taiwan, can you create an energy like the hot springs in southern Japan, where warriors in ancient days would go to heal, and where people nowadays, they go because it's got an interesting energy. There's a lot of chi energy being generated at those springs. And the scientists working for Dr. Chang and Dr. Chang in Taiwan for the Relaxed Sauna company took 10 years to figure out how to do the technology. 10 years to figure out how to get this energy to come out of electricity. When they did, they discovered it was not only far infrared ray energy, but it was 95 to 98% pure far infrared ray energy. Most of the wooden saunas that you have out there are, the portable saunas are 36% far infrared ray energy generally, and the wooden saunas are usually between 40 and 60%. So 95 to 98% far infrared energy is like unheard of. Now, I've got some more information here. This is just a different way. I think, I'm not sure how to do that. There we go. I guess I'm having help. The Relaxed Sauna, now how far infrared energy works, and this is very, very interesting. In the Relaxed Sauna, you have those two generators that you can see up there. They're sitting in the front of the tent facing the chair where a person is sitting. And they emit the 95% concentrated far infrared energy. And now far infrared energy, they don't tell you in 8th grade, but it goes through clothes, it's reflected by a mirror even though it's invisible, and it's a light, so it goes at the speed of light. So you have the energy going toward the back of the tent, goes through the blue nylon, hits the silver, and bounces at the speed of light. and it, like I said, it goes to the clothes. So you're in the middle of an incredibly bright light box. There's probably 6 times more far infrared energy in the relaxed sauna than any wooden sauna that costs $4,000. The light is probably 6 times brighter if you could see far infrared light. And when you sit in there, the relaxed sauna energy, the far infrared energy, is the same energy as water and your body, and all mammals actually. So the frequency that comes out of the relaxed sauna is between 4 and 14 microns, and not 50% of it, but all of it. So the human body is 9.4 microns. The water is 8 microns, so there's a love bond that's created. It resonates. Like when you see someone you love from maybe 100 feet away, there's a love bond. There's a, oh, and you feel warm in your heart. That's what happens when you're in the relaxed sauna. And in Taiwan, they say being in the relaxed sauna is like being in the presence of a Qigong master. Or in India, they would say it's like being in the presence of a great guru. In the United States, we say being in the relaxed sauna is the best we could do to being in this, a step-down version of divine love in a box. Some people say, I feel like I've been hugged by my grandma because they feel so warm, and they feel a blanket of love when they go into the sauna. It feels so warm. Believe it or not, of the 120,000 people that I have doing shows, 14 years of doing shows, 30 shows a year, there's probably 30,000 minor and major miracles I've witnessed. I have 600 video testimonies on YouTube of people raving how they don't have Lyme disease anymore, or they've remission from Lyme, to their fibromyalgia pain is not there. I've got people who go in the sauna and their pain went from a 9 to a 0 in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whether it be back pain or migraine headache or whatever. I have 600 video testimonies on YouTube. You go to YouTube and put relax sauna testimonials, and you could, they're over and over and over again. And so I'm very blessed to be able to bring a healing tool like the relax sauna into this world. Here's some more information. This is an example of what it does. I guess you can see that, it's okay. The sweat collected in the relaxed sauna compared to regular saunas. Now it's important to know that a prairie dog is not a dog. In other words, this does not work by heat, it works by frequency. And like I said, when the relaxed sauna energy vibrates and pulsates with the water molecules in your body, the water molecule, the hydrogen and oxygen atoms, the angle gets smaller, so therefore the water cell gets smaller, therefore the blood cells get smaller, the vessels dilate, and therefore you've got an incredibly increased microcirculation. I say that if 100 people are dancing in a room, it's going to get hot. So if all the cells in your body are being massaged or being pulsated, then it's going to increase the core temperature of your body, and that's going to create magic. It's going to basically get the whole lymphatic system be mobilized. So when you get the lymphatic system to be mobilized, you're going to get rid of toxins. You're going to get rid of all the heavy metals, the plastics, the phthalates, the chlorine and the dioxins, the pesticides and the chemicals. And what the relaxed sauna does, I've noticed, it gets the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems to be in harmony. So you have mental clarity, spiritual attunement, emotional harmony, and physical purity, you know. And it's like, you know how a washing machine works? It's like the invisible water penetrates the clothes, which are solid, and every fiber of the cloth is washed and cleansed, and out comes the dirty water. Well, that's how far infrared light works with the human body. It goes in, it penetrates the human body, the invisible light, the solid body, and actually cleanses every cell of the body of the toxins, the metabolic waste, and all the gunk that's in there, and out comes the dirty light. So we've tested the urine after people have been in the relaxed sauna. There's usually between 30 and 300% more heavy metals in the urine, the first urine that you give after being in the relaxed sauna for just 15 minutes. The toxins go through the lungs, through the colon, through the kidneys, and of course through the sweat. We've got a book here by Dr. Bill Akpenar. He himself has recommended the relaxed sauna to many, many of his patients. Oh, you can't see that very well, but it's no sweat, no sweat. And so, since you can't see that, but in there he quotes Hippocrates as saying, this is the technological breakthrough and a little bit of the understanding of how it works. But Dr. Akpenar quotes Hippocrates that says, give me a chance to create sweat and I can cure disease. And I think that in the medical schools, if they put that with the, well, I don't know if it'll help because it says above all do no harm, but in a lot of, it seems like a lot of people don't listen to that, but if you can create sweat, you can, Hippocrates says he can cure disease. So it's totally amazing the results we've had with the relaxed sauna. It's very, very therapeutic, and I encourage you to go to our website, relaxsaunas.com. I wanted to show you one more thing about why the relaxed sauna is so much. What people love about the relaxed sauna, this is what people say in many of those YouTube videos, is it takes 20 seconds, 30 seconds to heat up. You can do it with your clothes on for 5-10 minutes and have an incredible experience and get rid of pain like at the 30,000 Minor Miracles I've experienced at shows. Or you can do a 20-minute sweat in your home. You put 2 towels on the chair. You can see the chair there. You can put 2 towels on the chair, one on the chair folded and one draped over. All the sweat goes on the chair. And I myself have been doing for 14 years. I do a 20-minute sweat almost every morning. When I don't have time, I'll just do 5-10 minutes. It'll tone you for the whole day. A lot of people report to me. They do it at night or even in the middle of the day, and they sleep like a baby. They sleep really, really well. There's probably about 20 or 30 people at this conference who've already experienced minor or major miracles, and they're excited. And we encourage you to get one at your home. It's about 1/4 the cost of a $4,000 wooden sauna. It's very therapeutic. We have probably sold about 100 relaxed saunas to 100 different individuals with wooden saunas in their home who complain. They take 20, 30 minutes to preheat and then 45 minutes to an hour to do a good sweat. Relaxed sauna, you're all completed in 20 minutes. But the main thing is you feel good, you feel clear, and I thank you, and come visit the booth and get in it for 5 minutes. There's a phrase, pictures worth 1,000 words, and I say being in the relaxed sauna is worth 1,000 pictures. So experience it, and then you know the difference between this and any other far infrared energy. The relaxed sauna, far infrared energy seems to be the ultimate in far infrared technology. And thank you so much, and we look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
Thank you, Phil. And by the way, Phil's been handing out free taste tests. I mean, he's got some saunas out there that if you hadn't had the honor and the privilege of testing out his new technology, he's got them out there. And this guy that, I don't know if you can see or not, but he's got a happy smile on his face. But I go over there and I see everybody's in there. They've all got a smile on their face. Thanks, Philip. Take care. Okay. Over the years, some of you have been attending this conference for many, many years, and you know that I've had the dubious honor and privilege of some different injuries and character-building exercises. Right now, the fact that I'm able to walk, last year I was almost completely confined to the wheelchair. I'm still building character, but 2 weeks ago, for the first time since an injury 3 years ago, I was able to walk upstairs. I was able to climb the stairs normally. My right knee, I had a little difficulty. It occurred in the lab almost exactly 3 years ago. I ended up laying underneath a box of wire that we were using to wind some, coincidentally, electromagnetic therapy coils. And I slipped and fell. And you know how when you're sitting Indian, you know, you're sitting cross-legged, you know, your toes are pointing forward. Well, mine were pointing backward between my buttocks. You know, and this pallet with about 203 pounds of wire was laying on top of me, plus the weight of the pallet. And you talk about learning new definitions of pain. Well, everybody talks about, oh, I damaged my ACL, everything was torn. got to the doctor, and he goes, oh, man, surgery, surgery, surgery. You know, he looked at my ankle, oh, the pretty colors, the pinks, the fuchsias, the blues, the blacks, you know, the purples, you know, it was just like, and then he got up to my knee, and it was puffed up like a ballpark Frank, about almost 3 times normal size. He says, you know, we got to get you scheduled for surgery right away, you know, and he says, otherwise you're never going to walk again. And this is the 3rd time in my life that somebody said that if I didn't get scheduled for surgery immediately, or that what they were looking at on the x-rays, I was never going to walk again. Some of these alternate therapies, electromagnetic therapies, things like that, have done some amazing things for me. This one particular injury with my right leg 3 years ago in August, as he kept going up the leg, I went in, the doctor had shorts. All of a sudden he touched my abdomen, and there was kind of a little tender there, and it was kind of ouch. I says, ouch, stop that, you know. He said, have you ever had your appendix removed? I says, no, why? He looks up at my son and says, what hospital can you know, he says, in fact, take him to Northwest Houston, and, you know, and he had this look on his face like, don't spare the horses, you know. He says, get him right, you know, he says, but doc, it's just right, you know, it's like a block or 2 away. He says, go now, you know, and I had a burst appendix. Turns out it was quite a few days that had been burst. And after the surgery was done, the doctor said, you know, it wasn't even a couple of hours. He said minutes and you wouldn't have made it. The bottom line was is that I was so shot through with a whole bunch of different infective, different colorful pathogens that when my appendix burst, it not only filled my abdominal cavity with all kinds of nasty toxins, but my chest cavity. And they didn't want to cut anywhere else where there could possibly be another infectious ingression opportunity. So the surgery for my right leg was kind of set by the wayside. And some of you maybe have been to the 2010 conference where John Arthur showed a coil that I was a dubious recipient of a mortar misfire on a demonstration opportunity, and I had a hole in me the size of a silver dollar and shrapnel on the scene, and I had 1st, 2nd, 3rd degree burns. And you know, if you look at if you go 432 megahertz healing on YouTube, John Fiala, Jamie Buter have put a little bit of that up there, and you can see it. But right after the injury, we were doing electromagnetic therapy, and I was getting better, and I was actually able to walk and everything else. And we had a little challenge. Our laboratory had a little fire, burned to the ground 2 years ago, Memorial Day. Almost all of our EMT equipment, electromagnetic therapy, including plasma, and there's a lot of plasma out there now, you know, and the coils and everything, that all went away. And my mobility began to depreciate, and it got more serious and more serious. There's something else out there brand new for those of you who want to avoid the knife, just something to ponder and consider. How many have at least heard of stem cell therapy or PRP therapy? Okay, most of you, okay, great. Anybody heard any good things about it? And you know, everybody that had their hand up, okay. Well, what was happening is that I was on a downhill spiral, and it was getting so bad that I was almost permanently confined to that wheelchair. Right now, my regular doctor is really shocked because he's not the one doing, you know, the therapy, and the specialist that has been working on my knee for a couple of years since the fire, because the surgery wasn't there, and he's threatening a whole bunch of surgeries, and that he was still saying I probably may not walk. But I'm down to the point where when it starts to swell, he says, you got to be in the wheelchair. He says, you got to keep the swelling down. But I'm able to walk right now. And I've now had a third of a regimen of 3 therapies, and the pain's about a quarter and eighth. And there's many different ways to have that hand. You know, when you have trauma, you know, and the flow of blood and oxygen, healing nutrients are reduced, you know, like Philip's little saunas here. Anybody ever see anybody go out and run in the heat? What color does your face turn? You know, does their face turn when they're out there running? You know, anybody? What color does your face turn when they're out there running in the heat? Red, yeah. Why does it turn red? Because all the blood vessels are at the surface are opening up, so you get the flow of blood and oxygen. Not necessarily so you get that healing, but so that it gives off the heat in that case. Well, see, that's one way of healing. There's a lot of ways where you can use every blood vessel, every drop of blood, every molecule in your body is polar. And use an oscillating electromagnetic field, you can cause those to begin to oscillate and encourage the flow in places where it hasn't occurred yet. And you have somebody that has diabetic paralysis, neuropathy in their feet. You can actually encourage the flow of blood and oxygen to the tissue. And a lady that she was gangrenous, they were scheduled her to have both of her legs amputated below the knee because of diabetic neuropathy. And they were going to schedule it for a couple of weeks because she just had a bunch of surgeries to take gangrenous sections off. We started EMT and aloe vera and vitamin E, and a week and a half later she was supposed to go in for her pre-op. Instead of coming in her wheelchair, she walked in carrying her crutch. And the doctor, the nurse was looking for her, and she says, "You know where Mrs. Land is?" And she says, "I'm Mrs. Land." No, the lady in the wheelchair. "No, look, I'm," she lifted up her skirt and showed that there was scars, where they just done the surgeries, and she was so shocked. And she says, and they were dead shocked. They decided to pass on the surgery. They went that way for 2.5 years. Their daughter started taking over doing the therapy and everything else. And then one day the daughter got married, moved away. Father had an injury, he couldn't do it anymore. And about 8 months later, Joanne lost she lost her battle. And 3 weeks after they took her legs, they lost her. But the fascinating thing is that while she was doing the therapy, she wasn't going down, she was going up. And she was somebody that they'd only given less than 4 months left to live because of the diabetic neuropathy. And she went a couple of years just because somebody took the time to help her out with a little bit of therapy. So if you've got somebody in your family that is maybe suffering, so I apologize, I'm kind of, that lady was kind of personal to me. But think about it, and all these guys out here, they're all different sources and options and opportunities for that kind of therapy to help you, help somebody else, or maybe even help yourself. And with that, well, thank you for your time. And Danelle Roberts is going to be coming up to speak at 2:30. We're going to take about a 10-minute break. And don't be late for Danelle Roberts because he's got a dynamite presentation to make. So the Father's blessings be upon you. See you in a few minutes. Thank you.